Okay. If a wig has any handmade components, it is more expensive than one with none. So no handmade components. Okay. Similarly, a made-to-measure wig ranges from medium price to expensive. Okay. Handmade foundations are never found on wigs that do not use human hair. Furthermore, any wig that contains human hair should be dry cleaned. So all made-to-measure wigs should be dry cleaned. Okay, this seems very conditional chain like. So I think the conclusion is, so all made-to-measure wigs should be dry cleaned.
Yes. Okay. And what is our reasoning for that?
Because any wig that has human hair should be dry cleaned. And then the premises that follow before that as well, kind of like linked to each other.
Yeah. So how would you diagram this one?
Oh Lord. Okay. So if wig has any handmade components, so I would probably put like WHC, then it's more expensive than a wig that doesn't have any handmade components.
Okay.
And then similarly, a made to measure wig ranges from medium price to expensive. Okay, cool. Handmade foundations are never found on wigs that don't use human hair. Okay, so handmade foundations are never found on wigs that do not use human hair. Okay, so handmade foundations are found on wigs arrow that use human hair. Is that right?
Yeah. So if it is a handmade foundation or a handmade component, right?
Mm,
That means that it uses human hair.
yeah.
Awesome. All right.
And then any wig that has human hair. So if it has human hair, link should be dry cleaned. And then it's saying, well, all made to measure wigs are dry cleaned, which is the second premise,
Yeah. So what do we know about made to measure wigs?
that they range from medium price to expensive.
Yeah. And then we know that if they're made to measure, our conclusion is trying to say that they should be dry cleaned.
Yeah. So
So
I'm
now we
what I think is like the link is that if it's medium price to expensive, then it should be dry cleaned. Because then
yeah,
maybe
that would work.
without, yeah.
All right. So let's go ahead and start with A.
Okay.
So this is
Any
sufficient
wig.
assumption. Sorry, I thought this was strengthened, but it's sufficient assumption.
That's what I thought. That I was like, there's a missing link, but then I was like,
You predicted
strengthening
the question type.
flaw. Yeah, my favorite. Okay. Any wig whose price falls in the medium price to expensive range has a handmade foundation. Okay, so that means if it falls in medium price, then it has a handmade foundation. If it has a handmade foundation, then it has human hair, and then it should be dry cleaned. Okay, maybe. Yeah, I would hold it.
Okay.
That seems like it links it. B, if a wig's foundation is handmade, so if H, then it is more expensive than ones whose foundation is not handmade. It's more expensive than one that does not have handmade components. I think that's just a restatement.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. That doesn't get us to being dry cleaned at all.
Yeah. A wig that has any handmade components should be dry cleaned. So if it's a wig that has handmade components, then it should be dry cleaned. Okay, but that doesn't explain the medium price to expensive
Excellent. It
issue.
doesn't bring
So
in
no.
reciprocal. Perfect. So it's not C.
If a wig's foundation is handmade, then the price is at least in the medium range. No, I don't like the at least. I feel like that's not
That doesn't get us
strong
to
enough.
having to be dry cleaned. Yep.
And then any wig that should be dry cleaned has a foundation that's handmade. That's reverse. That's saying if it's dry cleaned, then it has a foundation that's handmade.
Yeah,
But
excellent.
that's reverse.
You.
Yes.
And so our answer is A. Fabulous. You're a
I was like, I really